I have a short story to tell you about business loans, no credit check for single member LLCs. So if you're looking for a large approvals and you are a single member LLC, you want to watch this show till the end. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. Number 5, you have Fundbox. Our score, 8.6 over 10. So if you're looking for like approval for your single member LLC up to $150,000, no credit check, you want to check out Fundbox. It's just a fantastic lender. And here you have loan amounts that go from $1,000 to $150,000. Again, no credit check. And the APR is around, it actually starts at around 4.6% and it goes all the way to 12%. And so in some cases, they actually will ask you for documentation. They might ask you for your bank account, your bank statements for the last 3 months, or they might ask you for your tax returns. So when we talk about your tax returns, basically you have to, it's just your 1040. Because if you're a single member LLC, you don't have a 1065, you don't file 1065. So they'll only ask for the Schedule C on your 1040. So they do this a lot. So when you think about Fundbox, I want you to think about an AI-powered business lending platform that actually looks at a constellation of factors. They don't need to check your credit to actually verify whether or not your single member LLC is financially healthy. Okay, they look at other things. They could look at your accounting software. So basically, Fundbox can ask to be integrated into your accounting software, your QuickBooks, your Wave, your Xero, your Zoho Books, whatever accounting software you use. They might just want to have a look into your financials. So they only pay attention to your financials. And of course, when we talk about single member LLC, they want to make sure that you are also organized as an LLC, because simply because you're a single member LLC doesn't mean you don't need to have a legit business. You still need to have a legit business, okay? And you can receive a decision within 3 minutes if you actually apply through Fundbox. And so this is kind of cool. And you can have a next day funding, not a problem. So you have, but just remember that you are limited to $150,000 in funding. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here to have this quick convo with you about business loans, no credit check for single member LLCs. Fantastic. Number 4, you have OnDeck. Our score, 9.1 over 10. So OnDeck is great for short-term single member LLC business loans for no credit check. And here you have a more generous lender. So you have loan amounts that go from $5,000 all the way to $250,000. So, and the cool thing is that this loans apply to all industries. So your single member LLC can be in any industry as long as it is legit. They will actually finance you, not a problem. The APR goes from 3% all the way to 15%. So this is kind of cool. And so what we love about OnDeck is that OnDeck has been doing this for the last 15 years. They actually started in 2006. So they've been doing a lot of stuff for small businesses, including micro businesses, such as single member LLC, okay? Or, so yeah, the good thing is that, and they will actually fund all kinds of programs, all kinds of economic sectors. So this is really good. Now, what are the, so you have 5,000 all the way to $250,000. And so basically you can repay this over 24 months. The thing is, you're not getting 5 years, you're not getting 10 years, you're getting 2 years maximum. So be very clear that just make sure that your single member LLC has the capacity to repay the loan, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that if you are in South Dakota, North Dakota, Nevada, if you are in those 3 places, unfortunately, OnDeck is not going to fund your single member LLC. This is just one of those 3 states where they currently have not received a banking license, so they can't really do anything there. But other than that, they serve a lot of industries. I mean, by our latest counts, like 700, 750. So this is kind of cool. And the cool thing is with OnDeck, you receive same day funding as well. So this is really good. But again, remember, term loans, your single member LLC term loans, you are looking at $250,000 if you want to be approved for a single member LLC business line of credit up to $100,000. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about business loans, no credit check, fast approval for single member LLCs. Number 3, we have Credibly, our score. 9.4 over 10. When you think about Credibly, I want you to think about a lender that's great for single member LLCs loan options, okay? No credit check, of course. Here, we have a more generous lender. You are looking at $5,000 all the way to $400,000, and you have funding in less than 24 hours. And the cool thing is your single member LLC can actually qualify, can pre-qualify, as a matter of fact, in minutes, okay? Again, no credit check at all because Credibly has other ways to make sure that your single member LLC is a good risk. Okay, good quote unquote, of course. So Credibly offers a wide range of single member LLCs business loans for bad credit, good credit, no credit. Okay, we're speaking about working capital loans, business lines of credit, and merchant cash advances specifically. What's more, new single member LLCs may also find it easier to secure financing because Credibly only requires business to be in operation for at least 3 to 6 months. So this is really cool. And let me quickly walk you through the pros and cons here. Pros, you have a wide variety of loan products. We love this a lot. And those loans are specifically geared towards single member LLCs. And you have fast funding times. Now, what about the cons here? The lowest loan amount is $5,000, and so if you get a loan through Credibly, just expect to repay on a daily basis or weekly basis. So this is something that has been disruptive to a lot of businesses, including single member LLCs and multi-member LLCs for the last 10 years. But as long as you're comfortable with that, you should be good. You should be good to go. Okay. And the only thing is that Credibly also wants you to have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in average monthly bank deposits. So this is something they actually look at. And as soon as you actually have those, you should be good to go. And no credit check here, no major documentation required. And so Credibly offers same-day approvals. And as soon as you are actually approved, you get your funds released ASAP. Fantastic. Number 2, we have a Rapid Finance, our score, 9.7 over 10. So when you think about Rapid Finance, I want you to think about a business loan, no credit check for single member LLCs that is great in terms of product availability. So here you have a more generous lender for single member LLCs. You are looking at $5,000 all the way to $1 million. This is really good. And so when you think about Rapid Finance, I want you to think about a lender that offers a large constellation of loans, including business loans, no credit check to single member LLCs. And we love the fact they're very generous and they're very flexible too. So they offer business term loans for single member LLCs, business lines of credit, merchant cash advances, and invoice factoring, all for single member LLCs and multi-member LLCs. Okay. And so we're looking at what? Unsecured loans, no credit check, from $5,000 all the way to $1 million, with terms from 3 to 60 months. So we're looking at 3 months to 5 years. Okay, this has been the longest repayment window we have seen in our analysis, depending on the specific type of a single member LLC business loan. And this is really good. And one thing I want to say here is that it's really important to understand that Rapid Finance will ask for your business bank account number and writing information to be able to actually integrate, they want to connect their system to your bank account, and sometimes they might want to connect their system to your accounting software, again, to monitor in real time your financials. Okay, what are the pros and cons of Rapid Finance? Let's quickly go into that, especially we are analyzing this from the perspective of a single member LLC. So pros, you have loans up to $1 million. So if your single member LLC is pulling a lot of revenue and can actually afford the repayment terms surrounding a $1 million loan, that's kind of cool. You have less strict minimum qualification requirements, and you have fast closing and funding. So this is really good. This is really great. What about the cons? Well, Rapid Finance does not disclose APRs or monthly fees. maximum terms of 5 years, and the smallest loan amount is $5,000. It is still good anyway. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about business loans, no credit checks for single member LLCs. Number 1, you have biz to credit. Our score, 9.9 over 10. So this biz to credit lender is great for working capital loans for single member LLCs. We're speaking about working capital loans, no credit check, okay? Here you have loan amounts that go from $25,000 all the way to $2 million. So if you are a single member LLC that has consequential funding needs, you want to go with biz to credit because they actually are very generous. You're looking at $25,000 all the way to $2 million. Like somewhere where like Rapid Finance is giving you $5,000 minimum, biz to credit is considering you for $25,000 minimum. Okay, this is really great. And so basically, and in some cases, they can go all the way to $6 million. Okay, now the $2 million is actually the average, but we have seen cases where you can receive between $25,000 all the way to $6 million. Okay, and you can apply in 3 minutes max. It takes about 3 minutes. When we did it, it took about 3 to 4 minutes, and you can be actually the decision could actually come out within 24 hours, not a problem, and you can get funded actually within 3 days maximum. This is really what it is. So we love this a lot, especially when it comes to single member LLCs. And this is really good. And one thing I want to say also is that based on our experience, there are moments when biz to credit cannot provide a financial product to your single member LLC. If that's the case, they will actually refer you to third party lenders who can really help you out. So this is really great. What are the pros and cons here? Pros: there is low minimum annual revenue requirements, and the application is really quick. The approval is also really quick, and the funding process the same thing. What about the cons here? Well, in some cases you might have stricter qualification requirements for term loan and CRE loans, and working capital loans require daily or bi-weekly payments. So this is something you need to be aware of. If you're comfortable with that, you are really good to go. Let me give you the overview here. When we talk about business loans, no credit check for single member LLCs, it's important to have the right formula for comparing those loans. It doesn't matter whether you want a loan with bad credit, no credit, or fair credit for your single member LLCs. It's important to pay attention to a few things. First of all, you want to compare the top end range of interest rates, right? Because, hey, listen, your single member LLC is going to generate revenue. But because your revenue is not unlimited, you need to control your cost. And interest rates are actually an important element when it comes to cost analysis, okay? So when you actually borrow for your single member LLC, especially when you get a no credit check, those no credit check business loans tend to carry a high APR. This is why you have to really be careful here, because see, think about it. If you're asking the lender not to check your credit, that means you're asking the lender to bear a larger portion of the risk here. So the lender is going to compensate that larger risk by increasing the APR. So pay attention to the APR. You want to determine how you want to receive your funds. Do you want to receive your funds like via wire transfer? Do you want to get the funds through wire transfer or like whatever? Like, you have to be really clear about that. You want to consider also the repayment terms and flexibility that the lender has for your single member LLC. You want to look out for additional fees also. Some lenders actually do charge closing fees. They charge like admin fees. They charge a series of fees to actually to make the loan profitable to them. But it is worth it. You want to evaluate the lender's customer support option also, because if you are a single member LLC, if you have a problem, you don't have a team, or if you are by yourself, you definitely want to make sure that you have accessible single member LLC customer service. Again, we're talking about customer service that understands the needs of single member LLCs, not regular businesses, but the SMLLCs, very important. Okay, so pay attention to that. So at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that you know what you're getting yourself into even before you get the loan. This is really quite essential. Let me give you a few pro tips here. It's important to understand that if you apply for a business loan, no credit check for your single member LLC, and you don't qualify, the next logical step is to apply for a business loan with bad credit, right? Because chances are, if you don't want the lender to check your credit score, that's because your credit score is not that stellar anyway. So bad credit, there are some bad credit business loans for your single member LLC. So you can try to see if you can actually qualify. And when we talk about bad credit business loans, we are speaking about term loans. We are speaking about lines of credit. We are speaking about secured loans and lines of credit. We are speaking about merchant cash advance. We're speaking about invoice factoring. So it's important to really know at least the loan typology when it comes to single member LLC business loans. And so how do you actually choose this small business loan with bad credit for your single member LLC? It's important to look at the qualification requirements. This is very important. You want to be comfortable and see, okay, what kind of FICO score are they asking for? What kind of revenue requirements are they asking for? What kind of DTI? Do they have some DSCR, debt service coverage ratio? What kind of DTI, debt to income ratio? Are they really paying attention? Do they have numbers that you can't reach when it comes to the metrics? Those are important elements that you have to do before actually applying for your single member LLC business loan. And you want to look at the loan offerings. Okay, what kind of loan offerings do we have here? And so when you look at the lender, what kind of APR do we have? So what is the lender reputation, right? So what is the underwriting and funding speed? How fast can you be approved? How fast can your application be reviewed? And how fast after approval can you actually receive the funds? Those are elements that are important, especially if your single member LLC is working on let's say a preeminent project, and revenue, like massive revenue, will come out of that project. So you want to be funded real fast. So it's therefore incumbent upon you to make sure that you get a lender who can release funds real fast. You saw, like, into this conversation, you saw Biz to Credit, Rapid Finance. They are really releasing funds within 24 hours. That's what you want anyway. Like, you don't want a lender to actually approve you and they take like 1 month to actually release the funds. That's just kind of crazy. You don't want that. So you want to make sure that you have done your homework beforehand, before you apply. This is a time saver down the road. Actually, do a recap here. I want you to look at our approach. We have an approach. We have a method on this show when it comes to evaluating, categorizing, and listing business loans, no credit check for single member LLCs. Check this out. Let's quickly recap here. Number 1, we have Biz to Credit, our score 9.9 over 10. Number 2, we have Rapid Finance, 9.7 over 10. Number 3, we have Credibly, 9.4 over 10. Number 4, we have OnDeck, 9.1 over 10. And number 5, we have Fundbox, our score 8.6 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.